The promise from the stars. The night sky over Earth was calm, filled with stars glowing softly like ancient fires. People looked up with wonder, never knowing that on the other side of those stars, a decision had already been made about their future. The Galactic Council had finally spoken. A grand message spread across every human channel, every screen, every radio. It was translated into hundreds of human languages. The words were clear and filled with power. We, the guardians of the galaxy, swear to protect Earth and its people from all dangers. You are under our shield now. You will never need to fear again. Crowds across Earth cheered. Some cried. With joy, others raised their hands to the sky in celebration. For the first time, humanity felt recognized as part of something bigger. They thought the galaxy had accepted them as equals, but not everyone trusted this sudden gift. In a dark room beneath the United Earth Council, leaders sat in silence. President Marlowe leaned forward, his voice sharp. Why now? Why do they suddenly want to protect us? Earth has survived every storm alone. This feels like a cage painted as a gift. Admiral Cade, a tall, scarred man from decades of service, crossed his arms, his voice was cold. Protectors? No, they're not protectors, they're watchers, mark my words. They don't want to shield us, they want to control us. Outside, the first alien fleets began to arrive. Sleek silver ships shaped like blades of light cut across the atmosphere. They did not land. They did not speak. They only hovered, watching silently from orbit. Their shadows stretched across cities, making the people below feel small. At first, the aliens acted polite. They called themselves the Zyrath, sworn protectors of peace. They sent envoys with smiles and promises. We are here to keep you safe from hostile empires. Many powers want Earth's resources, but we will guard you. The average person believed them. Why wouldn't they? The galaxy was dangerous. Earth was young among the stars. Who wouldn't want powerful friends? But the soldiers, the scientists, the leaders, they saw something different. Dr. Elise Harlow, one of Earth's brightest astrophysicists, whispered to her students as they watched the alien ships from an observatory. Do you see the formation of their fleet? That is not a guard line. That is a prison wall. Even common workers began to feel the weight. Cargo ships were stopped at orbit checkpoints. Alien officers inspected every launch, claiming it was for security. Space travel was suddenly limited. For Earth's protection, the Guardians said again and again in hidden bases under the oceans. In bunkers carved into mountains, humanity prepared. They had never asked for guardians, and they would not bow to them. Engineers whispered over glowing screens. Soldiers trained in silence. Leaders exchanged coded messages. But to the public, Earth smiled. They accepted the aliens with cautious faces. They let the Zyrath patrol their skies, they let them watch from orbit. But behind closed doors, a storm was building. Admiral Cade stood on the balcony of Earth's military command, staring at the alien fleet glowing above the clouds. His jaw tightened. They think Earth is weak. They think we need saving. But soon, they will learn the truth. Humanity was never made to kneel. Down in the streets, children pointed up at the alien lights. Look, Dad, they're here to protect us, one small boy said. His father forced a smile, but inside his chest, he felt only unease. He remembered the wars Earth had fought, the struggles humanity had survived. He knew one thing. Humans had always defended themselves, and they always would. News spread quickly. More alien fleets were on their way. The galaxy's so-called guardians were not leaving. Instead, they built stations above Earth, permanent outposts with glowing towers. They claimed it was to strengthen the shield of protection. But the truth was becoming clear to anyone who looked closer. Earth was surrounded. The suspense deepened when alien patrols began questioning Earth's scientists, asking for access to research. They asked for blueprints of human weapons. Just for safety, they said. But humans refused, at least for now. Behind the scenes, secret transmissions moved through secure channels. Leaders spoke in whispers. We cannot wait for them to tighten the cage, we must prepare. At midnight, Admiral Cade met with President Marlowe in the underground command bunker. The room glowed red with warning lights from alien scans above. Sir, Cade said, the people think they are safe, but we are one step away from occupation. We must show them. We never needed guardians. We never will. The president looked at him, eyes hard. Then prepare the plan. If they came to protect us, let them see what happens when humanity refuses protection. Above them, the alien fleets continued to circle like silent hawks. 2. The people of Earth, they looked like angels. But to those who could see the truth, they were chains waiting to tighten. The promise of protection had been made. But in the shadows of Earth, humanity was already preparing to break free. And somewhere in the silence of space, deep within Earth's hidden shipyards, engines that had not roared for decades began to awaken, shadows behind the promise. The alien fleets did not leave. Days turned into weeks, and the Guardians remained in Earth's skies. Their silver ships hung above the clouds like watchful eyes. To the people, it was a sign of safety. To the leaders, it was a sign of chains tightening. At first, the aliens made small moves. They set up checkpoints at Earth's orbital stations. They inspected every ship leaving or entering, claiming it was for Earth's safety. They placed their own guards on human colonies in the solar system. Each action was explained with gentle words, but behind the kindness, there was control. One morning, a cargo pilot named Jonas Hale prepared to leave for Mars. He carried supplies, food, water, and medicine. But as his ship rose, a Xyrath patrol blocked him. Alien officers demanded to search his cargo. Jonas protested, "This is medical aid. It's for sick children." The alien only replied coldly, "Security comes first. Humanity must learn obedience." Hours later, the medicine spoiled under alien delay and children died waiting. The story spread across Earth. Some called it a tragedy. Others began to whisper, maybe these guardians were not here to protect after all. Inside the United Earth Council, President Marlowe slammed his hand on the table. They are not protectors. They are wardens. Every day we lose freedom. Dr. Elise Harlow agreed. Their fleet patterns are tightening. They are not defending us from outsiders. They are surrounding us. Admiral Cade stood in silence. His eyes locked on the hologram of Earth's orbit filled with alien ships. Finally, he spoke. It's a prison wall, built around the planet, and if we don't act soon, the door will shut forever. Meanwhile, in the streets of Earth's cities, unease grew. At night, people looked up at the glowing alien stations and felt small. Children no longer pointed with joy. They asked their parents quiet questions. Dad, why do they watch us every night? Why don't they trust us? On the news, alien envoys spoke sweetly. Earth is safe now. No empire will touch you. We are your guardians. But in secret, they began demanding more. They asked for access to Earth's scientific research. They wanted human warships decommissioned. They ordered human patrols to stay grounded. When a human cruiser refused, the aliens disabled it with a blast of energy. Hundreds of sailors were left drifting, rescued only by luck. The message was clear. The Guardians would not tolerate disobedience. In hidden bunkers humanity prepared, engineers whispered over blueprints of secret weapons. Scientists tested engines deep beneath oceans. Soldiers trained in silence, waiting for the moment to strike. Humanity had seen empires rise and fall. They knew one thing. Freedom was never given. It was taken. Admiral Cade met with his officers in a dark war room. Maps glowed with red and blue lights. Alien fleets circled Earth like vultures. They think we are blind, he said. But our eyes are open. They think we are weak, but our strength waits in the shadows. If they believe they can cage us, they will soon learn the truth. Dr. Harlow brought disturbing news. She displayed intercepted transmissions. Alien commanders were planning to dismantle Earth's space industry. Within months, they will shut down our shipyards. They want us grounded forever, she warned. The room went silent until President Marlowe spoke. Then we must act before they do. The suspense grew each day. Alien patrols questioned human leaders, demanding Earth's weapons be destroyed. Soldiers were ordered to hand over arms. Some resisted and disappeared, never seen again. Whispers of rebellion spread across the colonies. On Mars, miners refused alien inspection. On Luna, workers painted human flags on walls with the words, "We need no guardians." The spirit of resistance was growing. In a secret chamber under the Pacific Ocean, enormous steel doors slowly opened. Behind them, colossal shapes rested in the dark, engines hummed, lights flickered to life. The hidden fleet of Earth, kept secret for decades, was waking. Above Earth, the aliens noticed strange signals. Patrol ships reported unusual energy spikes. Their commanders grew suspicious. One envoy approached President Marlowe directly. "If humanity hides weapons, we will consider it a crime against the galaxy." Marlowe looked at him with calm eyes. "We are not hiding. We are preparing. Because one day you will try to chain us." The alien envoy's smile faded. Suspense filled the room as his eyes narrowed. "You misunderstand, President. You are already chained, you just don't see the lock yet." As he left, Admiral Cade turned to Marlowe, his voice low and grim. "The time is coming, sir. We cannot wait much longer." The night sky glowed brighter than ever as alien fleets increased their presence. But deep in the hidden chambers of Earth, engines roared louder. Humanity was not afraid. Humanity was preparing, and in the silence between the stars, the galaxy's so-called guardians had no idea that the prey they tried to cage was about to bare its teeth, humanity's hidden strength. The alien fleets believed they had Earth surrounded. Silver ships glowed across the night sky like a cage of light. They controlled the checkpoints, they patrolled the colonies, they limited every launch. To the galaxy, it looked as if Earth had finally bowed its head, but under the oceans, in mountains, in the shadows of forgotten deserts, something else was happening. Engines were humming again, machines long hidden were rising. Humanity had been preparing for this moment long before the Xyrath came. Admiral Cade walked through a massive chamber carved into stone. The ground shook. With the sound of giant turbines, before him stood a ship larger than any city block, its dark hull glistening under blue lights. Engineers ran across scaffolds, welding, testing weapons. It was called the Resolute, the first of Earth's secret dreadnoughts. Dr. Elise Harlow stood beside him, her face glowing with pride and fear. "We designed these ships in silence, hidden from every satellite. These are not vessels of surrender, Admiral. They are proof that humanity never trusted the galaxy." Cade touched the cold steel of the ship. His eyes were hard. "Good, because trust is what kills civilizations. These ships will remind the galaxy, we are not children needing guardians." Meanwhile, across Earth, whispers of the hidden fleet spread among soldiers. Stories of giants beneath the sea, and weapons that could shatter moons, passed. From ear to ear, the Guardians noticed something was changing. Human eyes looked sharper. Human voices sounded stronger. The spirit of resistance was growing. In the secret base under the Pacific, more ships were revealed. The Iron Will, the Dauntless, and the Eternal Flame. Each vessel bristled with weapons unlike anything seen before. Railguns the size of towers, plasma lances that could pierce entire fleets, shield arrays designed to hold against the strongest bombardments. The engineers had built them for one reason only: survival. They had watched Earth bleed through centuries of war. They had seen humanity suffer and endure. They had sworn never again to kneel. On a cold night deep in a mountain bunker, President Marlowe addressed the hidden crews. His voice echoed through the steel corridors. "The galaxy swore to protect us, but what they meant was to cage us. They promised safety, but what they wanted was control. Today, I tell you, we need no guardians. We will show them our strength." The crews erupted with cheers. Their voices thundered through the halls. Humanity was ready, but the risk was great. If the aliens discovered the hidden fleet before it was fully armed, Earth could face destruction. That was the tension that weighed on every commander. Every move had to be hidden, every signal masked, every launch disguised as natural activity. Dr. Harlow's team worked tirelessly. They cloaked the shipyards under energy fields. They disguised test fires as meteor impacts. Yet even with caution, the aliens were starting to notice. Patrol ships reported strange readings in the oceans. A Xyrath commander demanded an explanation. President Marlowe simply smiled and replied, "Earth has storms you cannot understand." Suspense filled every day. Would the aliens discover the truth? Would Earth's secret strength be revealed too soon? Admiral Cade decided the time had come for a test, deep in space beyond the asteroid belt. A railgun prototype was prepared, the weapon charged with a hum that shook the station. The target was a dead moon, lifeless for millions of years. With a single thunderous strike, the moon shattered into fragments. The explosion lit the void like a second sun. Even the human crew stood in stunned silence. Dr. Harlow whispered, "If this is what one weapon can do." The galaxy is not ready for us, but the test did not go unnoticed. Alien sensors caught fragments of the explosion. Rumors spread in the council chambers. Whispers rose. Perhaps Earth is not as weak as we thought. Back on Earth, Admiral. Cade looked at the sky where alien fleets circled like vultures. He clenched his fist. They think they hold us in chains. They think their promise of protection makes us small. But soon they will learn. We are not their prisoners, we are their reckoning. The stage was set. The hidden fleet was almost ready. Humanity had shown its first glimpse of strength, and the galaxy had begun to feel the tremor of fear, far. Above in their shining ships the Guardians smiled still, believing Earth was under their control. But in the shadows, Earth's power was awakening, and when it finally rose, the promise of protection would turn into the ashes of war. The first clash, the alien Guardians had grown impatient. For weeks they demanded Earth hand over its weapons. For weeks they ordered humans to ground their fleets, but Earth did not bend. Earth only smiled politely and said, "We are grateful for your protection." But beneath the smiles, humanity was sharpening its blade. On the 30th day of occupation, the Zirath sent their first real warning. A human outpost orbiting Saturn refused inspection. The outpost captain declared, "This station belongs to Earth, not to your council." The Guardians responded with fire. A single energy beam cut through the station, turning metal and life into drifting ash. The galaxy expected silence from Earth after that strike. Instead, humanity's silence became more dangerous. Admiral. Cade stood before the United Earth Council, his face hard, his voice steady. "They killed our people. They think fear will break us, but they do not know who we are. We never asked for guardians, and we never will." President Marlowe gave the order, "Unleash Operation Iron Resolve." Across the oceans, in hidden bunkers, in mountain caverns, massive steel doors opened. The Secret Fleet, the Resolute, the Iron Will, the Dauntless, and more, rose from the shadows. Their engines roared for the first time in decades, shaking the Earth itself. People in coastal cities watched in shock as colossal shapes emerged from the sea. Dripping water like monsters of legend, the ships rose into the night sky, their black hulls glowing with power. Humanity's hidden strength was no longer secret. The Guardians noticed instantly. Zirath patrols swarmed, demanding explanations. Their voices filled the comm channels. "Earth is breaking the treaty. Earth is building weapons of war. This is forbidden." Admiral Cade's reply was simple. His words echoed across every frequency. "Earth never signed a treaty, and we will never kneel. You call yourselves our protectors, but you are our oppressors. Today you learn that humanity needs no guardians." The first clash began. A squadron of alien frigates opened fire near the Pacific. Blinding beams of energy rained down, but the dreadnought Resolute turned its railguns skyward. With a thunderous roar, the first round fired. The slug cut through 3 alien ships in one strike. Leaving burning trails across the night. On Mars, human miners launched resistance craft. Armed with crude cannons and courage, they struck at alien patrols. Their small ships darted like sparks against the larger enemy, proving that even the weakest human hands would not bow. The battle stretched across the skies. Earth's defense, grids, long dormant, roared back to life. Missiles launched from hidden silos. Laser arrays burned across the black sky. Alien fleets reeled in shock. They had expected obedience, not war. In the middle of chaos, Dr. Elise Harlow monitored energy levels from a secret command station. Her voice shook with awe. "Our shields are holding. Our weapons are cutting through their armor, Admiral. This is not just defense, this is dominance, but the aliens were not without strength. Hundreds of their ships poured into orbit. They tried to crush Earth under sheer numbers. They struck cities, they hit colonies, they rained fire to break human spirit. Instead, they awakened something far more dangerous. Human rage. Admiral Cade's fleet moved with precision. Every dreadnought fired in sequence, turning the orbit into storms of fire. The Iron Will unleashed its plasma lances, slicing an alien cruiser in half. The Eternal Flame fired missiles that split into smaller warheads, each seeking its target. Alien fleets burned, one by one. Citizens on Earth watched the sky turn red. For the first time, they saw that their planet was not caged, it was fighting. The fear that had once filled their hearts was replaced with pride. They whispered the words that spread across every city. We need no guardians. In the council chambers far across the galaxy, alien leaders stared in disbelief at the reports. Earth, a world they had considered weak, had just destroyed an entire fleet in a single night. One counselor whispered, "This is not protection. This is rebellion." Another said, "No, this is humanity showing its true face." By dawn, the sky over Earth was littered with wreckage. Alien ships burned as they fell through the atmosphere, streaking like dying comets. Human ships stood, victorious in orbit, their hulls scarred but unbroken. On the ground, children pointed at the falling debris. "Look, Dad, are we safe now?" The father smiled with tears in his eyes. "No, son, we are not safe, but we are free." In the war room, Admiral Cade watched the stars. His voice was steady. This was only the first clash. They will send more. The galaxy will not forgive this rebellion, but let them come. We were never weak and we will never bow. The first clash was over, but the war for humanity's freedom had only begun. The turning of the trap. The wreckage of alien ships still burned across Earth's skies. Trails of fire cut the night. Humanity had won the first clash, but Admiral Cade knew it was only the beginning. The Xyrath would never accept defeat. And they did not wait long. Within days, more alien fleets arrived, hundreds of warships stretched across the stars. Their numbers blocked out constellations. Their glowing engines painted the sky red. The message was clear. Earth was surrounded from E. Their stations above the planet, Xyrath commanders broadcast their demand. Humanity, lay down your weapons, dismantle your fleets, accept the guardianship of the Council, or be destroyed. For the average citizen, fear returned. Crowds filled. The streets staring at the alien blockade, it seemed impossible. How could Earth stand against so many? But beneath the surface, hidden in silence, Earth had prepared for this moment. In the underground command chamber, President Marlowe met with Admiral Cade and Dr. Elise Harlow. Holograms of enemy fleets glowed above the table. They formed a noose. Around Earth, Marlowe's eyes hardened. They think they have trapped us, but it is not us who are trapped. Admiral Cade smiled grimly. Yes, sir. The trap is theirs. For years, Earth had built weapons in secret, not only ships but orbital platforms, stealth satellites and planetary defense grids disguised as weather systems. The Guardians had been watched just as carefully as they watched humans. Every move they made had been calculated. Every weakness mapped, Doctor. Harlow pointed at the hologram. When they formed their blockade, they put their ships in our net. They don't realize the positions they hold are within firing arcs of our hidden platforms. Admiral Cade gave the order, activate the grid. In silence, across the oceans and deserts, massive platforms hidden beneath camouflage rose into the sky. Some were disguised as abandoned satellites, others as meteor tracking stations. Now they revealed their true faces, colossal cannons and missile arrays. The night exploded, beams of light cut through the heavens, missiles streaked upward like burning arrows. Alien ships were caught in crossfire. Their formations, so tight and perfect, became their doom. The very blockade they had built became a death trap. In orbit, the dreadnought Resolute surged forward. Its railguns fired in rhythm, tearing through alien cruisers. The Iron Will and Dauntless joined, their plasma lances carving burning lines across the sky. The Xyrath were unprepared. They had believed humanity had only a handful of secret ships. They had never imagined Earth had prepared an entire battlefield beneath their feet. On the ground, Citizens watched in awe as the sky lit with fire. What had once looked like a cage now looked like fireworks of war. They began to chant in the streets, "No guardians, no chains." A squadron of alien ships broke through and tried to strike Earth cities. But as they descended, stealth drones emerged from hidden hangars, swarming like hornets. Each drone carried enough firepower to destroy a cruiser. Within minutes, the alien squadron was gone. In the alien command ship, panic spread. Xyrath officers shouted. They had this planned. They were waiting for us to gather. The commander's face twisted with rage. Impossible, they were primitives. But the truth was clear. The primitives had outplayed them. Back in the war room, Dr. Harlow's eyes gleamed with triumph. Every time they thought they caged us, they stepped deeper into our trap. Admiral Cade's voice cut like steel. Now we show them what happens when you mistake humanity for prey. The dreadnought Eternal Flame moved into position, unleashing its special weapon. A storm of micro-missiles that scattered like stars, each missile locked onto a target, striking dozens of alien ships at once. The blockade broke apart, fleets scattering in chaos. Above Earth, the Guardians' mighty formation turned into a graveyard of burning wrecks, their perfect circle shattered, their ships drifting powerless. On Mars, colonists cheered as alien patrols fled. On Luna, workers raised the Terran flag high above their dome. Across the solar system, the message was spreading. Earth was not under protection. Earth was fighting and winning. At last, President Marlowe addressed the galaxy. His words were broadcast through hacked council channels. His face appeared before hundreds of alien worlds. You swore to protect us, but you only came to chain us. You thought Earth would kneel, but today you see the truth. We need no guardians. Humanity will stand on its own. The message shook the galaxy. Worlds under council control watched with awe. Some whispered of rebellion, others whispered of fear. For the first time, the Guardians were not seen as protectors, but as weak as the battle ended. Admiral Cade stood aboard the Resolute, gazing at the wreckage. His officers waited. He spoke quietly, but his words carried weight. This was not just a battle, this was a lesson. The galaxy must learn that humanity was never meant to be caged. The trap had turned. The Guardians who came to dominate Earth had been broken in their own net. But even in victory, the Admiral knew this was not the end. The galaxy would not forgive Earth for this defiance. The Council would not stop here. Greater fleets would come, stronger enemies would rise. Yet as the fires of battle burned out in the night sky, one truth remained unshakable. Humanity needed no guardians. The shattered oath. The stars above Earth were no longer filled with silver guardians. They were filled with wreckage, alien hulls burning as they drifted in silence. The blockade was broken. The trap had turned. Across Earth, people filled the streets. They pointed to the sky with tears of pride. They sang songs, waved flags, and shouted one truth again and again. We need no guardians. The words echoed from city to city, from colony to colony, spreading across the solar system like fire. But far away, in the halls of the Galactic Council, silence weighed heavier than any celebration. Leaders of dozens of species sat frozen, watching live feeds of the battle's end. They had expected Earth to bow. They had expected weakness. Instead, they saw a world that had stood alone in shattered fleets. One counselor, her scales trembling, whispered, "How? How did primitives build weapons like these?" Another, his voice full of dread, answered, "They hid their strength. They were waiting for us." The Xyrath delegation, the same race that had sworn to guard Earth, stood humiliated. Their leader slammed his claws against the table. "This is rebellion. Earth must be punished. If we allow this, every world will rise against us." But others shifted uneasily. Some whispered of respect, some of fear. The oath of protection was shattered, and with it, the illusion of council power. Back on Earth, President Marlowe addressed the galaxy once more. His speech was broadcast on hijacked channels, his voice calm but filled with steel. "You came to us with promises. You swore to protect us, but your oath was a lie. You wished to cage us, to strip us of freedom, but today you learned the truth. Humanity will never kneel. In cities across alien worlds, crowds gathered to watch. Some cheered, inspired by Earth's courage. Others stared in fear, wondering what humanity might do next. On board the dreadnought, resolute, Admiral Cade looked over the reports. Dozens of alien fleets destroyed, thousands of survivors fleeing. His officers waited for orders. Cade finally spoke, his voice low. We fought because they thought we were weak. Now the galaxy knows the truth, but this is not the end, this is only the beginning. Dr. Elise Harlow entered the command deck, her eyes shining with determination. Admiral, messages are flooding. And from across the galaxy, some colonies under Council rule are asking for our help. They see us as hope. Cade's face remained hard. We cannot fight every war, but we can show them an example. If humanity stands free, others will find courage. Yet danger still loomed. The Xyrath survivors regrouped at the edges of the system, preparing for revenge. In secret, the Council debated unleashing their most powerful fleets. Many feared that if Earth was not crushed quickly, their own rule would collapse. Back on Earth, life changed overnight. Citizens who once looked to the skies with fear now looked with pride. Children drew pictures of human ships destroying alien fleets. Soldiers marched with heads high, knowing their world had not only survived, but had risen. Still there was grief. Families mourned the outpost destroyed near Saturn. They mourned the lives lost in the first clashes. Humanity had won, but at a cost. The price of freedom had always been heavy, and Earth carried it once again. In the Council chamber, an envoy was sent to Earth, a desperate attempt to stop the spiral into greater war. The envoy, cloaked in silver robes, stood before President Marlowe and Admiral Cade. His voice was smooth but tense. Humanity, listen. You have proven your strength. The galaxy respects you now, but if you continue this defiance, you risk total war. Accept guardianship again on your own terms, and there can be peace. Marlowe's answer was cold and sharp. Peace built on chains is not peace. We will never accept guardians. We are not children of the galaxy, we are its equals, Admiral Cade added, his voice cutting like a blade. Tell your council this. Your oath is broken, and so is your power over Earth. From now on, if you come as enemies, we will answer as enemies. The envoy left in silence. The galaxy trembled at humanity's words. The oath of guardianship was shattered forever. On Luna, miners lit bonfires in the domes, chanting, "No guardians." On Mars, colonists carved the words into the red soil. On Earth, a little girl looked up at the stars and asked her mother, "Who will protect us now?" Her mother smiled gently, brushing her hair. "We protect ourselves. That is what it means to be human." As dawn broke, Earth's skies were filled not with alien patrols, but with human ships, fleets of black steel and glowing engines. Humanity stood free. Humanity stood strong. The shattered oath would be remembered not as the day Earth was saved, but as the day Earth saved itself. Humanity stands alone. The galaxy was silent. For the first time in centuries, the Council had failed. The oath they once used to control worlds lay shattered, and Earth, young, defiant Earth, stood free. But freedom carried a heavy weight. Admiral Cade stood on the bridge of the Resolute, staring at the star maps. The wreckage of alien fleets still floated in orbit, glowing like dying embers. His officers waited for orders. Finally, he spoke. The Council will not forget this. They will not forgive. But let them come. Humanity is ready. Dr. Elise Harlow approached with a tablet of reports. Admiral, signals are spreading across the galaxy. Colonies ruled by the Council are rising, inspired by us. Some are rebelling. Others are calling for our help. Cade's face tightened. We cannot fight every battle. But we have lit the spark. The galaxy now knows. Humans need no guardians and no chains. On Earth, celebrations filled the cities. Streets glowed with lights. People sang and danced beneath skies now free of alien patrols. Yet beneath the joy there was awareness. This was not the end. The galaxy was vast and humanity had just declared itself its equal. President Marlowe stood before billions in a broadcast that reached every colony and station. His voice was steady, carrying pride and warning. We were promised protection, but protection is another word for control. Today we showed the galaxy that we will defend ourselves. We are not weak, we are not children, we are humanity, and we stand alone. The people roared, their voices carried across oceans, deserts, and colonies. The words, "Stand alone," became a chant of pride, yet not all were celebrating. On the council worlds, fear spread. Some leaders spoke of revenge, calling for fleets to destroy Earth once and for all. Others whispered of negotiation. For every alien who feared humanity, another respected them. The balance of power was changing. In the quiet halls of a council chamber, one elder spoke the truth. Humanity has changed the order of the stars. They have broken our oath, and in doing so, they have broken our illusion of power. Back on Earth, children drew pictures of black steel ships guarding the skies. Soldiers trained harder than ever. Engineers whispered of even greater weapons hidden deep within the planet. Humanity had survived, but they knew survival was never enough. They had to be ready for the storm that would follow. One evening, Admiral Cade walked through a small city on Earth. He passed families celebrating. He heard laughter, saw fireworks painting the night, yet his eyes stayed on the stars. A young boy tugged at his coat. "Admiral, will they come back?" Cade looked down, his scarred face softening. "Yes, they will. The galaxy does not forget, but when they return, they will find us stronger than before." The boy smiled. "Because we protect ourselves." Cade nodded. "That's right. That's what it means to be human." Far above, Earth's dreadnoughts patrolled the orbit, black silhouettes against the starlight, no longer hidden, no longer silent. They were a message written across the sky. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was not weak. Humanity stood as its own defender. Dr. Harlow watched from the observatory, her heart heavy with both pride and fear. "We have stepped into history, Admiral. The galaxy will never see us the same again." Cade answered, his voice calm. "Good. Let them fear us. Let them respect us. For too long they saw Earth as fragile. Now they see the truth. Humanity stands alone and humanity endures." The galaxy trembled. Worlds whispered of Earth's rebellion. Some called it dangerous, some called it inspiring. But one thing was certain. Nothing would ever be the same. In the final days of that year, a little girl sat with her father under the night sky. She stared at the stars glowing above and asked softly, "Who will protect us now?" Her father pulled her close, pointing to the shining human ships that cut across the heavens. "No one, my child. No one but us. And that is enough." The stars above burned quietly, witnesses to a new truth. Earth had faced the Guardians, shattered their oath, and walked away stronger. Humanity did not need protectors. Humanity had become its own protector. And in that silence, the galaxy began to understand. The age of Guardians was over. The age of humanity had begun.